In still waters, a fly that's predominantly black with a touch of red in it. It's probably a universal colour scheme all over the world. And I think apart from a generic lure fly pattern, it's also a particularly good imitation of midges. And one of my favourites is the Zulu, or variations thereof. And this particular pattern I'm going to show you is a way of tying a wet fly, in this case a Zulu, when the hackles that you've got are too big. It's a common problem not to have hackles the right size. And using this cheater method, you can try a variety of patterns that you can use hackles that are too large. So we're going to tie a bunch of black cock hackle or hen hackle onto the shank of the hook. Just judge roughly how long you want the fibres to be. We'll take the thread all the way back down to the bend of the hook, trim off the excess fibres if you need to. And just before the bend of the hook, we're going to tie in a little red tag tail. For the tail, you can use marabou, red wool. I'm actually going to use a little tuft of red rabbit fur for this one. Yeah. Just that little hint of colour seems to be a trigger for the fish quite often. And then we're going to tie in some mylar for the ribbing. So I'm going to tie in a piece of pearl mylar for the rib. And then we're going to dub the body with some black rabbit fur dubbing. Just spin it onto the hook. Then we're going to wind that with an abdomen, and you'll see that I quite like to wind this fairly loosely because I'm going to brush it with some Velcro in a minute. A nice hairy mobile finish to it. I'm going to give that a brush with a bit of Velcro. Okay, and then wind the mylar in open turns through the hair abdomen and tie off firmly there. And give it another gentle brush with the Velcro. Get those fibres out from behind the mylar. I like this fly to be as mobile as possible. There we go. And then we're just going to spread those hackles around the hook shank. Then to spread the hackles, we're going to pull them downwards and we're going to take the thread up to almost the eye of the hook. Bring it back and we're going to build a nice ball of a little bit more black dubbing, rabbit fur dubbing just behind the hackle. It'll help it stand out, be more mobile in the water. Nice ball. Force those hackle fibres backwards. And tie a nice neat head, all the time pushing those fibres back against that ball of dubbing. A couple of a bit too long. And there you have your generic black Zulu, but obviously you can use the same method to tie any number of wet flies. One little variation which I quite often use is to tie in some goose bites as a wing. So we're just going to do that on this particular fly. So as a variation, we're going to take 2 white goose bites, and tie them over the back of the hook. Like that. And trim the excess off. Then we're just going to neaten up that head. Neat whip finish. There we have it. There's a generic cheater hackle Zulu. I found it to be a very effective pattern, particularly boat fishing, and particularly if there's a lot of midges coming off the water. Simple.